So glad today we're joined by Andy Greenberg, and he's an author. He's an international speaker and a TV and radio personality who has reached more than 1 million people. Andy, how are you?
I'm great. It's great to see you again. Yeah. I remember when we first met and how impressive you were. And we met, you remember, at Burke High School.
No, I was going to say the same thing too. You know, you have that energy. You know, you was very friendly, all those kind of stuff. So I really like it. And that's gonna be my first question actually to you. How do you have that state of mind, to be so inspired every day?
Because I don't know any other way. It's just my personality. Now, a lot of times people have personalities, they're born with it, they live with it. They don't do anything to change it. I was born with a personality to inspire, to have energy, to motivate. But I'm very, very fortunate because I am able to transfer that skill to others. So they might have a personality that's quiet, mundane, kind of shy, and it'll take a little bit of a while, maybe 5-6 hours, and then we are able to get them out of that mood and get them into an opportunity where they're energetic. Because why are people energetic? It's very simple.
Okay, what is it?
They feel very good about themselves. And when you feel good about yourself, you're not going to be depressed. Yes. You're not going to be sad. You're not going to have a lack of energy. When you feel good about yourself, what you're going to do is be uplifting. You're going to project that. So the theory is feel good about yourself and the energy follows.
Whoa, that's awesome. So what's the difference between inspiration and motivation?
The difference between motivation is very, very simple. Motivation, you break up into two different words. And if there's an English teacher listening, I need to tell you, I'm going to apologize in advance. You take it into two different words. Motive, action. So the first thing you need to do is decide what your motive is. What is your goal? And then how are you going to have the action to have that occur? Inspiration comes from within. Inspiration says, I want a goal. So once you have that inspiration to get that goal, then the motivation follows. So the question becomes, why does one want to have a goal? Yes. Well, they want to improve. They want to get better, not necessarily monetarily either. It could be family, it could be social, it could be friends, it could be charitable, anything along those lines. Once they establish that goal, then comes the action. But first has to be that inspiration saying, I want to do more. Exactly. I want to be better. I want to improve. I'm never going to remain the same.
So as you know, we live in a challenging world. There's so many things going on. People just have people are so fed up, all those kind of stuff. How can somebody have that positive mindset and positive attitude? Yeah.
The question becomes the root cause. What are they fed up about? Okay. Are they fed up about external events? That external events prevent them from doing what they want to do. If that's the case, I always tell the story about the difference between a person that golfs and a golfer. So,
person who golf and a golfer.
And a golfer, right? So here's the story. If a person goes out and plays golf, and then all of a sudden, there are the winds, there is the rain, they're going to say, uh-oh, my game is not going to be very good because everything is against me.
Exactly.
And they're going to give up. They're going to allow the external conditions to impact them. A golfer does something different. A golfer says, all right, bring it on. You bring me the rain, you bring me the wind, you throw everything you can at me, and you know what's going to happen? I'm just going to play a better game. I'm going to think about it more. And it's the same thing. So first you have to decide what's external. Never, ever let the external stop you from doing what you want to do. Understand it and increase your game. The second one becomes, once you fix that external, then you got to start working a little bit on the internal. And when you get that internal thing about being fed up, what's making you fed up? Is it because you're stagnant? Is it because you're not getting anywhere? Is it because you're not achieving your goals? And you have to decide, internal or external. By the way, both of them are fixable.
Both of them are fixable.
Yes, with one caveat. You have to admit that there is a problem.
Okay, so you have to recognize there's a problem first.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the foundation.
Yes, and I remember when I got educated, they always taught us identify the problem, quantify the problem, create a solution to the problem, and then measure how the problem is going to be solved. That's a bunch of baloney.
You think so?
Yeah. Because what they're forgetting is the very first thing. Yeah. And what is that? You have to agree and admit that you're having a problem, which a lot of people don't do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, it's not my fault. There's no problem here. Everything's going fine. The more they delay it, the more that problem is going to fester and grow. So to answer your question a long way short, when you're fed up, it's either something internal and it's either something external, both of which are fixable. And all you have to do is identify the root cause, work on it, and always remember to be a golfer and not play golf.
Yeah. You mentioned also about goal setting earlier.
Yes.
What are the secrets to achieving goals nowadays?
The secret to achieving a goal is to understand what the end result of that goal will be. Why do you want to achieve that goal? What's in it for you? And when you establish that goal, how long will it take you to get there? And is it reasonable? Now, there's an argument that says always get to goals that make sense, that are reasonable, so you don't get frustrated. And the example I like to give is a trampoline. You ever been on a trampoline?
Of course.
Yeah. Remember the first time you went on the trampoline? You were nervous.
A little bit.
Anxiety.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So you went on there and you took maybe 5 steps up and down. Okay. And all of a sudden, what happened? You said to yourself, I can do more than that. This is silly. I can get better than that.
I'm comfortable already.
I'm comfortable. Yeah. But I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm going to try and go high. So you're going to jump higher. And then what happens when you feel comfortable with that? You're going to jump higher. That's the beauty of a trampoline. And then if you're really good, you're going to start doing twists. And then you're going to start doing the tumbling. And you're going to get better and better and better because there's only one person that restricts you from doing higher and better. That's you. There's nobody else that's around. So it's the same thing with goal setting. This argument about, oh, you got to set reasonable goals is a bunch of baloney. What is a reasonable goal? There is no such thing as a reasonable goal. Whatever you set for yourself, you get to go higher and higher because life is exactly like that trampoline. You don't go with the baby steps. You don't go with the medium steps. You get the most out of it. And that's how you achieve goals.
Cool. You know, no doubt you have gotten so many exposure, with the media and all this kind of stuff. So many people are struggling with branding to put themselves out there.
Yes.
What advice do you have for either a college student, a professional, or an entrepreneur who want to get themselves exposed out there?
The first thing you have to ask is, what is branding? What is a brand? You can't answer that question until you understand what a brand is. And what is a brand? The promise that people believe that you will always deliver. Now, we have 2 presidential candidates. Each one of them have different brands. Now, I'm not going to talk politics, but each one of them has a different brand. You know what they're going to deliver. You have a choice which one it is. So you have to ask yourself in branding, what is it that I'm going to deliver to everybody? So what is my brand? Motivation, inspiration, enthusiasm, energy. They know that when they engage in a conversation with me, that's what they're going to get.
So that's what you're known for.
That's what I'm known for. And that's intentionally. So you want to ask yourself, what is it that you want to be known for? But there's a challenge because everybody also might want to have the same goal that you do in terms of branding. So the next word comes in that says differentiation, right? So you get everybody in the same pack, but how are you going to differentiate yourself? What's going to make your brand the top of the brand? So here's a story I love to tell. So let's assume for a moment you're driving home tonight after this interview. Turn on the radio, and then all of a sudden they say, uh-oh, there's a big storm coming tonight. There's going to be heavy wind. There's going to be heavy rain. You better watch the TV to find out what time the storm is coming, where it is on the radar and the Doppler. So my question to you is, knowing that you have to turn on the television set and listen to a weather person, who are you going to choose? What weather person do you know here in town?
A lot.
All right, name one. Just give me a name of one.
I can't think of one. I know a lot of it.
All right, most people can. All right, most people used to say Jim Flowers. Now they say Bill Ramby. Now, here's a question. What is the difference in the weather report from Jim Flowers or Bill Ramby? Absolutely nothing. They all have super duper Doppler radar. They all have the magnificent screen. They all dress very nicely. However, one of them is better than the other. One of them differentiated themselves. Then you have the other channel that some people might know, and then you have the third channel, I'm not going to mention who they are, that you don't even know that they have a news broadcast or a weather broadcast. So they all have a brand, But Bill Ramsey differentiates himself over anybody else. Maybe his reputation, maybe his credibility, maybe his delivery, who knows? So once you establish what it is you want to deliver, as part of your brand, you have to ask yourself, what is that going to be different in somebody else's mind when they think of it? And that's how you define yourself. So I'll take myself as a personal example. A lot of people have motivational speeches. That's fine. Love them all. It's great for the industry. Very few have had their own TV show. Very few have had 5 million people, 2.5 million, I should say, listen to you every day. That's my differentiator. I'm national. Most people are local. That's the difference. So again, just to summarize, what is it that you want to be known for? And how is that going to be different from anybody else in the marketplace?
That's amazing. So I want to touch base on your book, Your High.
Yes.
So what triggered to choose that title, Your High? And can you expand just a little bit on your book?
Yeah, it's both the spelling of it and what it means. So your high, the your is easy, but the high is capital H, capital I, small g, small h. And it's intended to be that way because you're high, you're uplifting. And what it basically is, it's a collection of my radio vignettes, the most popular ones. So we just put it into an easy to read format book. But the whole method behind it is, who are you high on? So we mentioned earlier, you've got to be high on yourself. But there's a little bit of a catch in that. We've all heard about self-confidence. You got to have a lot of self-confidence. Be self-confident, you're going to succeed in life. I hate to tell you, that's the wrong formula.
That's the wrong formula.
It's absolutely wrong.
What is the wrong formula?
It's terrible. If you only have self-confidence in yourself, but nobody else has confidence in you, you're going to fail.
Okay.
The real way to do it is to make sure other people have more confidence in you than they have in anybody else. That's where promotions come from. There's a lot of people wanting that better position, that higher paying job, the more responsibility. The decision maker will give that job to the person that they have more confidence in than anybody else that's looking for that. Yeah. And that's the key. Oh, I'm self-confident. Why aren't I progressing? Because you haven't transferred that confidence to the people that are making the decision who they want.
Wow.
And that's the key.
Awesome. So Andy, now we're going to turn to the last part of the interview. We're going to focus on you.
Okay.
So what is that one book that you have read that have changed you?
I have to go back probably about 20, 25 years ago. I think everybody, well, maybe that's not true. There was a fellow by the name of Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins was one of the first nationally known motivational speakers. And he used to have these infomercials, and he's still fairly popular today. And I started following his thoughts and reading his books. And then I began to notice a similarity. Tony and I think alike. And he was the one that really began to inspire me. I went to his seminars. Some of us might have heard about it, where you walk on hot coals that are 1,200 degrees in heat. Well, I did that. Now, did my feet burn off? Absolutely not. Was I nervous or scared? I have to admit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
But not enough to stop me. Yeah. And once I did that and realized that this was not a phony carnival trick, this was actually true, I began to say, okay, this guy makes a lot of sense. So when I go out in the marketplace, am I going to be like him? No, because there's no differentiation. So I'm going to take his ideas and use it for my own personal growth, but I'm not going to transfer his ideas as mine because that doesn't make any sense. So that's what I did.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is having fun. That's my guilty pleasure. Now, some people might ask, well, what does that mean? You go out, you get drunk, do you party, whatever? No. My guilty pleasure is having fun, making other people happy. So am I a big drinker? No. Do I smoke? No. Do I cheat on my wife? No. So that's not my guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is, and I've been accused of this, waking up in the morning and being known as being in Andyland.
Andyland.
So what is Andyland? Happy, cheerful. So if everybody meets, oh, you're always so happy, Andy, as you started off with the questioning. What makes you that happy? Well, that's my guilty pleasure. Being happy and transferring it to other people.
If you had to be one animal, which animal would that be?
Tiger.
Tiger.
The tiger.
Why? Why tiger?
Absolutely the tiger. Ferocious.
Okay.
Fearless.
Okay.
Conqueror. Smart. knows how to get its prey, and is very well respected in the animal world.
I thought that was a lion.
Well, it might be the lion. I don't like. You see, the lion's got all that big hair. Yeah. I don't have it, so I got to go with the lion. But that reminds me of something. In my motivational seminars, I could have a group of 100 people. One of the things I ask them to do is to bark like a dog. Now, what do some people do? Some people bark as a chihuahua. Some people bark as a bulldog. Some people bark as a pit bull. And that there determines their personality on the spot. That's who they associate with. Not that there's anything wrong in being a chihuahua, but the bulldog will eat you up. Right? So if you think of yourself as a little shy individual and you're happy with that, which is fine, you're going to bark like a chihuahua. Yeah. So I bring that to your attention because mine is the lion. I'm sorry, the tiger. Can't be the other one. The guy's got too much hair. I can't be a phony. I'm not going to get there.
What are you grateful for?
Grateful for life, grateful for my wife, grateful for my health, grateful for my prayers being answered. I am a spiritual individual, and grateful for the opportunity to listen to and to understand other people and help them. That's what I'm grateful for.
If you have one advice to my viewers, what would that be?
The advice would be as follows. When you get up in the morning, I want you to think of the following thing, especially here in this area. I want you to think of a tree. Just picture a tree for just a moment. Now, in your mind, what does that tree look like? As a matter of fact, what does that tree look like?
Well, it depends on season, too.
Oh, you're the only one to answer the question that way. That was very good. Very good. Most people will say, oh, I see a tree full of leaves. I see a tree growing and it's green and it provides shade. All true. But like Marco said, well, what season? Because those people that think of a tree all the time with leaves full, I like those kind of people. Why? They're positive. They're positive thinkers. And I do that with people who claim to be negative thinkers. Yeah. I ask them about the tree, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, it's really bright. So, well, how come you didn't say that the leaves are falling off and half the year it's barren? So you think you're a negative thinker. So to answer your question using that analogy, wake up in the morning, think of that tree in full blossom. Think about what it goes through in the winter. It gets attacked by cold weather, by snow, by winds, but yet, when it comes back in the spring, it's stronger every year. That's you. That's you, the viewer. You're the one full of leaves. You're the one that is withstanding the external pressures that we talked about earlier, but yet you are a better person of it, because of it. Why? When you get up this morning, you're going to be better than where you were yesterday, but not as good as you're going to be tomorrow.
Andy, thank you so much for being on the show.
Marco, my pleasure.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
And continued success to you and everything you do.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment below and subscribe to our show somewhere here so you don't miss any content.